The weekend box office is so amazing for this movie that I am so happy that Michael B. Jordan delivered a huge success. Creed 3 absolutely dominated the box office, smashing records across the board. I believe it's the first sports movie to cross $100 million internationally, worldwide box office. The first sports movie to open up with that almost $60 million that it opened up with. It's the greatest performing sports movie of all time, box office receipts wise. And this movie is directed by a black director. That's fantastic to hear. Also, what it did, it knocked Ant-Man and the Wasp out of the water. Killed it. Creed punched Ant-Man to death. And that thing is just sliding. The percentages on Ant-Man's decline are incredible.
What's up? This is Method Man right here. Yes, I have a mask on because I care. Welcome to Jody's Corner.
Ant-Man lands a $100 million punch at the global box office. Ant-Man 3 fading fast. Holy shoot. Look at these numbers. 3-day world, $105 million. Golly, congratulations, man. While Ant-Man pulled in 34, 3-day world. Creed, post-franchise record debut. Creed has proven a rare film in the franchise, growing in the fast installment for the last 3 titles so far. It debuted with a confirmed $43 million from 75 international markets. The opening for Creed sets records for both international and North America. In like-for-like international markets using today's exchange rates, Creed 3 is tracking 109% ahead of Creed and 25% above Creed 2. Adjusting to use exchange rates at the time of release, Creed 3 stacks ahead of both films, 93% ahead of Creed and 18% above Creed 2. Confirmed numbers for the show franchise weekend's tops international territory was 7.8. People are watching this thing in other countries, bro. Shout out to them. The other countries are showing up for this movie. So I would like to say shout out to Creed. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, everybody involved with that movie. But it comes at the expense of a MCU juggernaut, right? Nah, we're talking about an MCU microbiome. We're talking about Ant-Man, an insect who got squashed by 16-ounce glove of Creed. Disney's Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA continues its box office slide, especially in North America, where it eroded another, get ready, ladies and gentlemen, 61% at the weekend box office. Do you understand what that means? Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA. It fell another 61%. Let me give you guys some context here. If Ant-Man and the Wasp on its second weekend, you know, when the first weekend it came, it opened up to $100-something million. Great, right? It's going to happen. When the second weekend hit, if it fell this 61%, that would be concerning. We would be like, oh, it's a little concerning. 61% is kind of a lot. But it fell 71% in its second weekend, and that was just disastrous. That's like BVS, 69%, 70%. It's BVS levels of horrible, like all the way bad. For a film to have already had fallen 70% in its second weekend, to then fall an additional 61% is like this. Opening weekend, 70% drop. 61%. It's like free falling. It's a free fall. This, I didn't expect it to drop enough. That's a lot. People do not like this movie. They ain't going to go see this shit. The third Ant-Man grossed $12.5 million in North America on the weekend. There's the number. You guys have it. In the weekend, while Creed made $100 million, opening weekend, its third week, Ant-Man only made $12.5 million. That's 4.18 million a day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Shit is crazy. $4 million a day. That's what they brought in this country. This shit in this whole country. The third week of a Marvel MCU movie only made $12 million. To see that low a number is something that you would expect in like the 6th or the 7th week in the theater, not the 3rd week. For international weekend box office was an estimated 22 million, and the total is 232 million. Globally, it only made 419 million. Ladies and gentlemen, Ant-Man and the Wasp, while it being a success because it is an MCU movie, the budget for this thing was about 200. Maybe they're about 200 to 250 million dollars into this movie. At the end of the day, with the way this is free falling, I don't think it'll be able to hit 550. I assumed 600 million, but no, it's dead. It's over. This thing is going to struggle to crawl past 500 million, which means that it won't even be beating out Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second movie in the box office. Because I believe the second movie in the box office made about 550, 600 million. So that's not a good thing for once again, this is not a flop. It is a box office underperformance. This movie severely underperformed. And I wonder why that is. Why do you think that this movie severely underperformed? Possibly because it's trash? Maybe. QUANTUMANIA began its scorching global debut of 225 million, setting a franchise record. You guys really need to pay attention to these numbers. What are we talking about? It came out. It started its weekend globally with 225. And 2 weeks later, it only managed to get another like 190 million worldwide. It made more money on its opening than it did for the 2 weeks. It made more money in 3 days than in the other 18 days it's been out. It made more money in 3 days than it made in 18 days. In its first 3 days, it made more money than the remaining 18 days. QUANTUMANIA still needs another $100 million to catch the global gross of the first Ant-Man. Oh my God, it's not. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to beat that first Ant-Man, and that's a problem. For a new franchise, a new IP, an unpopular character like Ant-Man, it still made 519. For this third film to not, that's terrible. Ant-Man and the Wasp made 622. It's out of the question. It's not happening. This movie's not going to beat Ant-Man and the Wasp. And Ant-Man and the Wasp is the second worst MCU movie of all time. That's a really bad movie. Those earlier films had the benefit of release in Russia and China, which also performs differently. For example, Ant-Man and the Wasp grossed 121 million in China, whereas QUANTUMANIA has so far managed only 36. Holy shoot. In China, the weaker film, Ant-Man and the Wasp, made 121 million, while this film, which is better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, made only 37 million. That's a big chunk of change less. Also for Disney Avatar: The Way of Water, it's continuing to kill it. I mean, look, it made $3 million less than Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, do you guys understand that Avatar: The Way of the Water almost outgrows Ant-Man and the Wasp in its third weekend? Do you guys understand how blasphemous that is? How egregious that is? That's insane. Avatar came out like 2 months ago. What's happening? And it's still in theaters. Almost outgrossing Ant-Man and the Wasp. Guys, I told y'all, man. This is the language that Kevin Feige understands. He understands the language of revenue. He understands the language of money and box office receipts. Kevin Feige shaking in his boots while watching this. He's looking at the MCU start to fall down. Because he hasn't had a true huge box office hit since No Way Home, $1.8 billion. One of those real hitters. And that's it. You had to bring out all the Spider-Man for that bad boy. Of course that was going to make money. Doctor Strange didn't do terrible. I like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but a lot of y'all don't. But regardless, this just spells doom and gloom for what's happening in the MCU. Something needs to course correct, and I think Kevin Feige needs to speed up the timetable of which he is course correcting. Because when the way he's doing it right now, this whole talking about, yeah, we got things coming, you need to make adjustments now. That Blade 3 script that was thrown in the trash, that's a problem. Blade 3 was so bad that they said they took the script, bundled it up, and threw it in a trash can. They're starting from scratch. They rehired new talent to write the movie. That is terrible. And they pushed it back a year. Did you guys forget? I didn't. So when you add Blade to this situation, and you add how people are receiving the MCU Phase 4 and Phase 5, and you add AntMan and the Wasp to the situation, understanding that this trash writer Jeff Loveness is writing Avengers Kang Dynasty, you add that to the situation, and you look at it, and you stand back, and you look at it as a whole, which I know Kevin Feige is doing. He knows we're in trouble unless we turn this thing around now. So here's my suggestion. As an MCU fan, here's what you do to make it up. Fast track the X-Men, obviously. But immediately what you can do is fire Jeff Loveness on his Avengers script. Hire a new writer to make a new Kang Dynasty script. That's number one. Number two is you swap out this goofy... You need to pay attention to the people that got hired for Phase 4 and Phase 5. You need to look at their resume, and some of these fools ain't hitting. They need to be removed, replaced, and put in. We need to bring in talent. We need talented writers. We need talented directors and talented producers to come back to the MCU and produce Phase 2 and Phase 3 like content again. The hiring process at Marvel is like a freaking Job Corps fair at the local community college. They're taking on all comers. It's like a McDonald's hiring event. Do you breathe? Yes, I breathe. You're hired. I mean, we got to really do something different than this, bro. This shit ain't working. If I could get your shit together, bro, I'm freaking pissed off, man. Fix this shit. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. What do you guys think about Ant-Man almost being outboxed office by Avatar and Creed wiping it away? And this thing dropping 61% after it dropped 70%. And this movie only making $37 million would have made $130 million in China. What's going on over here? It looks like the interest is dropping. Or maybe I'm tripping. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out. Deuces.